The village breathed slowly under the evening sky. Dusty paths, warm huts, and a soft wind carried unspoken stories. Amina walked alone, her steps light, her heart heavy with feelings she did not understand. Near the edge of the village, Kofi stood silently, watching the horizon. He was leaving soon, everyone knew, but no one spoke of it. When Amina looked at him, their eyes met for a brief moment. No words were needed. Something gentle yet painful passed between them. The wind paused, as if holding its breath. That night, love was born quietly, without promises, without sound, only a feeling that refused to fade. Morning arrived quietly. The village woke to routine, but something had changed. Amina felt it in her steps, in the way the air touched her skin. Kofi avoided her eyes that day, as if looking once more would make leaving harder. Whispers moved between the houses. He would go before the next sunset. When they crossed paths near the well, their hands almost touched. Almost. That small distance felt heavier than words. Amina wanted to speak, but fear held her voice captive. Kofi paused, then walked away without turning back. The wind followed him, and for the first time, Amina understood. Love was not always loud. Sometimes it hurt in silence. The sun climbed high, but warmth meant nothing to Amina. The village felt smaller, quieter, as if it already missed Kofi. She heard his name in whispers, in footsteps passing by, in the wind that refused to rest. By the old path beyond the huts, she saw him again, his back turned, a small bag in his hand. He was really leaving. Amina stopped a few steps away. Her heart screamed, but her lips stayed still. Kofi sensed her presence and paused. He did not turn around. Some goodbyes were too heavy to face. He walked on, and Amina learned that love could exist even without a farewell. The path felt empty after Kofi disappeared beyond the hills. Amina stood there long after he was gone, as if the ground might remember his footsteps. The village returned to its rhythm, but her heart refused to follow. Days passed. She laughed when needed, spoke when spoken to, yet inside her lived a quiet ache. Every sunset reminded her of what was left unfinished. She wondered if he thought of her when the wind touched his face in distant places. One evening, a small sign appeared near the village edge. Something familiar, something only she would notice. Amina's heart stirred. Maybe love had not ended. Maybe it was only waiting. Amina returned to the village edge the next day. The sign was still there, a mark carved into the tree, simple and quiet. Kofi's mark. Her breath caught. He had not forgotten. She placed her hand over it, feeling warmth where there should have been none. In that moment, distance felt smaller. She imagined him walking under unfamiliar skies, carrying the same ache, the same hope. The wind moved softly around her, wrapping her like a promise. No words were spoken, yet something was decided. Love had not been left behind. It had simply chosen to travel, waiting for the right moment to return. That evening, the wind returned stronger than before. Amina felt it before she saw anything. An unease, a pull she could not ignore. The village elders spoke in low voices. Travelers had arrived with news from the road beyond the hills. Someone had seen Kofi. Her heart raced, hope and fear colliding inside her. What if he had changed? What if time had erased what they never spoke? Amina stood at the village edge as night fell, staring into the distance. The wind brushed past her, urgent now restless. Somewhere beyond the darkness, fate was turning, and love was moving closer. Whether she was ready or not, sleep refused to come. Amina sat outside her home, watching shadows stretch under the moonlight. Every sound made her heart pause. Every breath of wind felt like a message unfinished. She thought of Kofi's silence, of the look he never gave her, of the words that remained trapped between them. Love had grown in absence, stronger than it ever was in presence. Just before dawn, footsteps echoed from the distant path. Amina stood. Her hands trembled, not knowing whether hope or heartbreak was walking toward her. The wind slowed again, just like the first day. This time, it did not whisper. It waited. The shape became clearer with every step. It was him. Kofi stood at the edge of the village, changed yet familiar. His eyes searched until they found Amina. The world around them faded. He stopped a few steps away, as if afraid to cross the final distance. Time stretched between them, filled with everything they never said. Amina felt tears rise, but she did not look away. "I came back," he said quietly. That was all. But in those two words lived longing, regret, and love that never left. The wind moved gently again. This time, it felt like home. They stood facing each other, the space between them heavy with untold words. Amina finally spoke, her voice soft but steady. "You left without asking me to stay." Kofi lowered his eyes. "I was afraid," he admitted. "Afraid that if I stayed, I would lose myself. Afraid that if I left, I would lose you." Silence followed, deep and honest. Amina stepped forward, closing the distance at last. "Love is not about fear," she said. "It is about choosing." Kofi looked up, hope trembling in his eyes. For the first time, they chose each other. The sun rose slowly, painting the village in gold. Amina and Kofi walked side by side along the familiar paths, their hands finally touching, fingers intertwining naturally. Words were no longer needed. The silence between them carried everything. Villagers whispered quietly, noticing how something had shifted in the air. Something gentle, strong, and alive. The wind played around them, wrapping them in warmth and calm. No promises were needed. No grand gestures. Love had returned, quiet and true, born from patience, distance, and the courage to choose each other. And in that simple, fleeting moment, their hearts found home.